Well, it's autumn now, and the colors are actually starting to wane in my neck of the woods. It's pretty wet out, it's pretty windy. The colors are fading, the leaves are blowing off the trees. But I wanted to do at least one fall scene. And I thought I'd like to actually maybe put a little shed in there. Not just a shed, it's a hideaway, okay? So, don't tell anybody. I'm drawing this late at night so that nobody can hear. Of course, I washed it in that direction, and I'll use some, and I'll ignore some other lines. I thought this might be a good space for a tree trunk to come through. I don't want to show sky, I just want to show a shed, a hideaway, amongst trees during the autumn. So I'll put a few branches in. I don't know, as I said, sky, I don't know. I'm really more interested in what an intimate picture. I would like very much to have a thicker tree over here, but if I start it here, I'm the same distance from the center of the painting as this one is, so it's a little bit dangerous. On the other hand, without moving a trunk, I can make a trunk more important in one direction than the other. You know what? You know what I'm going to start doing? In a very mistaken way, I'm going to pretend that I know what I'm talking about. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just shut up. How about if we do that? If the nature of this one is very different than the nature of that one, I think this will work out just fine. You know, I like birch, but amongst birch, I like mapley stuff. So if this is maybe a little more mapley and that's a little more birchy, it's okay. Higher values, lower values, something along those lines. Something along those lines. And what if it actually, we show some root there. And this one just kind of plunges into the ground. I don't mind if there are, yeah, well, you know what, let's put a branch or two in there as well. I shouldn't probably even be drawing in these details yet, but it'll give us a feeling for the painting as a whole. I'm not going to show roots here because with a maple you might see some roots as they spread out, as they come out of the ground. With a birch, it pretty much plunges into the ground, right? There will be shadow off of a tree trunk here and there. I'm not too worried about shadows because if we're in a scene within the forest, we're not going to be too worried about direct sunlight. There will be hints of where the light's coming from, but I'm not going to put myself on any kind of medication to get to that decision. I'm not going to risk my mental health. Okay, that's a pretty fat branch. All right, I won't worry about that stuff. Let's shorten that one actually. Now I'm probably going to take a few chunks of a few bits of leaves, groupings of leaves, and lay them in front of the trunks here and there. But I'm not going to worry about that yet. You know, we want our most stable and steadfast forms in place. After that, we'll dress it up and maybe put some music to it as far as rhythm of leaves and groups of leaves are concerned. Okay, a trunk in front. That's nice. I like that. I like that. Let's lay another one in behind. Like just something else there, and something else there, and something else there. And another tree about there. They all look very straight right now, but that's just for the moment. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be a knife or a brush painting yet. I get the feeling it might end up being painted with a brush, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Some clusters of foliage maybe there in the distance. If I leave this going off the top of the canvas, this going off the top of the canvas, we're going to end up with goalposts. So we're going to have to break this up as well. Cluster of foliage, as it were. Yeah, you know, the more I do this, the more I think, yeah, it's going to be kind of intimate. There are going to be a lot of little branches. Right now I'm just making a mess, as you can see. If you can't see that I'm making a mess, then you have no sense of cleanliness. Or tidiness. What if we were to put a little tree in front of that? Another one. Yeah, you know, that could work. So that's the horizon that the cabin sits on. But as we get into the bush, we'll have another horizon. As we poke through the bush, we see other things. And those other things are other little stems, little trunks of smaller trees that grow out of that. Boy, I'm almost tempted to make this a snow scene. Okay, let me just roll my chair back here. Yeah, that gives it a bit of perspective. I don't mind this trunk sitting in front of the cabin either. Oh, sorry, not the cabin. The hideaway. The hideaway. You know, in general, I know it's very messy here. It's very messy in a lot of places. Don't worry about that. That's, you know, getting that in shape, that's my job. That's nothing you have to worry about. I don't know. I have kind of a good feeling about that. Let me just get my chair away from there. Yeah, it's rough, guys. It's very rough. And that's how they always start. But I think in general, okay, I'm not going to level off my tripod. I'll just show you that. Rough stuff, but you know, a little hideaway cabin surrounded by some nice autumn colors. I think we might have something there. The last one was very gray, muted, misty. This one, yeah, just more intimate, warmer, good colors. See you soon.